All right, hi, it's good to see you again. Before we get started, I wanted to check in and see how you've been doing since our last session. How has your week been?
It's actually been pretty good. I stayed away from meth and I didn't drink this week either.
Well, that's excellent progress. You set those goals for yourself last session and you were able to follow through with them. What do you think helped you stay on track this week?
I try to stay busy, and whenever I felt stressed, I called my sister instead of drinking or using. I also went for walks a few times.
Well, it sounds like you've really been putting those coping strategies we discussed into practice. And you also recognized your triggers and made a different choice instead of turning to substances. How did it feel to handle those situations differently?
I felt proud of myself. I realized I don't automatically have to use when I'm stressed.
That's an important realization. When we first started meeting, you described substances as feeling like the only way to escape when things become overwhelming. Now you're recognizing that you have other options. What do you think has changed for you?
I think I'm starting to believe I can actually handle things. I know I have my sister and I can walk away from situations or do something else instead of using.
Okay, that's a significant change. You're not only avoiding substances, you're developing healthier ways to respond to stress. So let's talk about some of the situations that were difficult for you this week. Did you experience any cravings or any stressful situations you were put in?
I had a stressful day at work and got frustrated with my dad again. I wanted a drink, but I called my sister and went for a walk instead.
Okay, well, that shows a lot of progress. You experienced the same type of triggers that previously led to substance use, but this time you responded differently. And what did you learn from that experience?
That craving doesn't last forever. If I give myself some time and don't act on it, I can get through it.
Exactly. Learning that cravings and difficult emotions can pass without acting on them is an important recovery skill. You are beginning to recognize that you have choices even when you're feeling overwhelmed. So, I'd also like to check in about work. Last time you were attending consistently, and your supervisor also noticed the improvement. So, how has work been going for you?
It's still going well. I've been showing up on time and I haven't missed any days.
Okay, that's an important accomplishment as well. Keeping your job was one of the goals that you identified in our last session, and you've been making consistent progress towards that goal. How did you feel about that?
I feel good about it. I was worried I was going to lose my job before I came here.
Right. It's understandable that you're worried, especially considering how substance use had affected your attendance before. Your consistency now shows that you are making changes that are positive effects to your life. How have things been with your family?
My mom seems to trust me a little more. My sister has also been really supportive. Things with my dad aren't perfect, but they're better than before.
Okay, well, it sounds like you're beginning to rebuild some of those relationships. As we discussed before, rebuilding takes time, but your consistent actions are helping demonstrate that you're making those changes. I'd like us to take a look at where you were when we first met. At that time, you were using meth every day or every other day, drinking almost every day, missing work, experiencing a lot of anxiety, and feeling like you were losing important relationships. What do you notice when you compare that situation to where you are now?
It's a big difference. I haven't used meth. I stopped drinking this week. I'm going to work and I talk to my family more. I feel like I have more control.
I agree that you've also made a lot of meaningful progress. You've been engaged in our sessions, you've been honest about your challenges, and most importantly, you've taken what we've discussed and applied it outside of our sessions. So, I also want to talk about what comes next. Based on the progress you've made and your ability to use your coping strategies more independently, I think we're getting to a point where we can begin preparing for the end of our regular sessions.
So, does that mean that I'm done?
We're getting close to that point. I don't want termination to feel sudden or like you're being dropped from services. Instead, I want it to be a planned process. Because you've made significant progress towards your goals we identified at the beginning. Next week's session will be the beginning of our termination process. We'll review what progress you've made, identify the skills and support you can use continuing on, discuss any remaining concerns, and make sure you have a plan for maintaining your progress for our sessions in the end.
I think I'm okay with that. I'm a little nervous, but I also feel like I've come a long way.
It's completely understandable to feel both proud and nervous. Ending counseling can bring up different emotions, especially when sessions have provided support during an important period of change. The goal isn't for you to feel like you will never experience stress or cravings again. The goal is for you to feel confident that you have the tools and support to respond to those challenges without returning to the patterns that were causing problems. What do you think you will need to continue doing to maintain the progress you've made?
I need to keep talking to my sister, stay away from people and situations that make me want to use, and keep using things I've learned.
Those are excellent points. I'd also encourage you to continue recognizing your triggers, using healthy coping strategies such as walking or listening to music, and reaching out to support before a situation becomes too overwhelming. Before we finish today, I'd like to check in on your confidence again. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 you don't feel confident at all, and 10 means you're very confident, how confident are you that you can maintain the progress you've made?
I'd say like an 8.
Okay, that's a strong increase from the 7 you reported previously. Why do you think you're at an 8 now?
Because I've actually done it. I've stayed away from meth, didn't drink this week, kept working, handled stress without using. I know I can do it now.
Okay, yeah, that's an important difference. You're basing your confidence on your own experience and accomplishments, not just hoping things will change. You've demonstrated that you can make healthier choices when you're dealing with stress. So for this coming week, I'd like to continue what has been working. So remain abstinent from meth and alcohol. Continue using your coping strategies when you experience stress or cravings. Maintain your work attendance and stay connected with your sister and other supportive family members. So at our next session, we'll begin the termination process together. We'll review accomplishments, talk about remaining challenges, identify your ongoing supports and coping strategies, and develop a plan to maintain your progress moving forward. How are you feeling about ending our regular sessions?
I'm nervous, but I'm also proud of myself. I think I'm ready to try.
I'm glad to hear that. You have worked hard to get to this point, and the progress you've made belongs to you. My role has been to support and guide you, but you've been the one making the decisions and putting the changes into practice. So thank you for being honest and committed throughout our work together. Next week, we'll take time to recognize how far you've come and make sure you feel prepared for the transition. I'll see you then.
Thank you.